My name is Jess Collins. Everyone at Columbia Law calls me the human computer, not because I'm cold, but because I can recall pretty much every clause, every precedent. Every tiny detail buried in those massive casebooks. To me, the law has always been black and white, rules, exceptions, and everything fits neatly inside the lines. No emotions. No mess. That's how I was raised, growing up in an American family in New Jersey, where my parents drilled into me that success only comes from discipline and precision. Second year, I'm sitting in Professor Harlan's big lecture hall for his infamous constitutional law class. That day he announces the big assignment, Moot Court. A mock trial based on a complicated civil rights case. It's pulled from real life, a black woman shot and killed by police while asleep in her own home. Her family suing the city for violating the Fourth Amendment. Hot button, sensitive, the kind of case that divides people. Harlan reads out the pairings. I'm waiting to hear my name, hoping I get matched with someone as serious as me, someone who'll split the work evenly and never miss a deadline. Jess Collins and Chloe Ramirez. I glance around. Chloe Ramirez? She transferred from UCLA this semester. I'd heard about her, always in oversized hoodies, curly hair and a messy ponytail. Famous for pushing back against professors. Just last week she stood up and told Harlan that law without a heart is just a cage trapping people. The whole room went dead silent. Me? I thought, the law doesn't need a heart. It needs justice, and justice comes from precedent, not tears. After class, I'm packing up when Chloe walks over. Flashing that half smirk of hers. Hey, partner, she says, voice warm with a teasing edge. Jess, right? I'm Chloe. Heard you're the precedent queen. I nod. Keeping it professional. Yeah. We should meet soon to divvy up the work. This case is complicated, we'll need at least 30 key cases. She laughs, louder this time. 30? I figured we'd just read Breonna Taylor's story and feel the family's pain. That's enough. I stiffen. Feelings don't win over a jury. Evidence and precedent do. She studies me for a second, brown eyes curious. Interesting. One side's the computer, the other's the heart. Let's see who wins. I don't reply. Just nod and head out. My to-do list is already forming. Fourth Amendment deep dive, qualified immunity, castle doctrine cases, everything has to be perfect. But as I leave the hall, I can't deny it, Chloe Ramirez gets under my skin. And weirdly, she makes me curious. I never thought a late night in the law library could turn into a battlefield. But with Chloe Ramirez, anything's possible. We meet on the third floor of Butler Library, the quietest corner, soft yellow lights, that old paper smell in the air. I'm there 15 minutes early. 3 thick books spread out, laptop open to tabs on Graham versus Connor, Tennessee versus Garner, and a string of recent qualified immunity cases. I've already outlined the opening. Cross-exam, and closing, pure logic, precedent, precision. Chloe rolls in 10 minutes late, giant coffee in hand and one tiny notebook. No laptop, no printouts. She slides into the seat across from me like we're meeting for brunch, not prepping for trial. Sorry I'm late, she says. Was on the phone with a friend at the ACLU. They've got extra stuff on Breonna Taylor, crime scene photos, neighbor statements. Want to see? I shake my head. We don't need photos to win. They'll just sway the jury emotionally, and the court will exclude them for relevance. We focus on qualified immunity. Was the officer's conduct reasonable under Graham versus Connor? She raises an eyebrow, sets her coffee down. You really think a jury's gonna sit there while you recite case law like the periodic table? They're people, Jess. They need to feel the pain. They need to see Breonna wasn't just a name on a docket, she was a 26-year-old woman asleep in her own bed. Gunned down with no chance to defend herself. I sigh, trying to stay calm. Emotion doesn't change the law. If we lead with feelings, we lose. The other side will jump on it. Plaintiff's counsel is trying to manipulate the jury instead of presenting legal evidence. She leans forward, voice lower but sharp. So what's justice to you? An alphabetized list of statutes? Or something bigger, protecting the voiceless, fixing centuries of wrong? I go quiet. Not because I don't have answers, I have dozens, straight from the books. But for the first time, they feel empty. We argue for 3 solid hours. I point at my screen, quote cases. She sketches emotional flowcharts in her notebook, big circle labeled Family's Pain, arrow to the jury, looping out to real justice. Every time I say, precedent doesn't support it, she fires back. Precedent can change if we're brave enough to challenge it. Near midnight, the library's almost empty. I'm exhausted, eyes stinging from the screen. Chloe's still buzzing. Like debating until dawn is her natural state. Then she looks up, straight into my eyes. Jess, have you ever made a decision without checking the index first? One that came from, just how you felt? The question hangs there. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. Her gaze, warm brown, deep, challenging, locks onto mine. The space between our stacks of books suddenly feels thick. Not argument tension anymore. Something else. A pull I can't explain with logic or precedent. I look away. Pretending to organize papers. We should wrap up. Continue tomorrow. She smiles softly, packs up. Yeah. Tomorrow. But Jess, not everything's in the index. She leaves first. I sit alone under the yellow lights, heart beating faster than usual. Not because of the case. Because of her question. And the way our eyes met, just a moment. But enough to shake the black and white world I've built for 23 years. I close my laptop and sigh. For the first time in my life, I'm not sure I'm right. After that night in the library, I can't focus. Chloe's question loops in my head like a miscited case. Have you ever made a decision without checking the index first? I tell myself it's just debate tactics. But every time I picture her eyes, my pulse skips. We keep meeting to practice Moot Court, but the vibe's different. The arguments are still fierce. But now there are these weird silences, moments we look at each other longer than necessary. I start noticing that Chloe doesn't just talk about emotion, she lives it. She laughs loud when she's happy, scowls when she's mad, and sometimes looks at me like she's trying to read a book in a language she's still learning. One Friday night, after another fight about whether to weave the victim's personal story into the closing, Chloe suddenly snaps her notebook shut. Enough, Jess. We need a break. Come with me. I look up from my laptop. Where? We've still got rebuttal tomorrow. No rebuttal tonight, she says, firm but gentle. I'm buying you a drink. No books. No cases. Just music and vibes. I'm about to say no. I always say no to stuff like this. But seeing that half challenge, half hope look on her face, I hear myself answer, okay. One drink. We take the 2 train up to Harlem. She leads me to this little jazz spot called Paris Blues on Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. Outside it looks worn, neon flickering, but the second we step in, the warmth hits me. Dim amber lights, faint cigar smoke mixing with bourbon, and on the tiny stage a band easing into a slow, aching summertime. Chloe pulls me to a table near the stage. Orders 2 whiskey sours without asking. I've never had one, but when it arrives, I take a sip, sweeter than I expected, just enough to soften the bite. What do you think? She asks, eyes glowing under the lights. Not bad, I admit. But I still don't get why you dragged me here. We've got Moot Court coming up, not a night out. She laughs softly, tilts her head. Because you need to remember the world isn't just libraries and case law, Jess. There are places like this, no right or wrong, just melody and feeling. You can't move a jury if you've never let yourself feel something real. I go quiet, listening to the saxophone wail. For the first time in forever. I'm not thinking about deadlines or outlines. I'm just watching Chloe sway gently to the music, curls falling over her shoulders. Then, quieter, why'd you go to law school, Jess? For real. I hesitate. No one's ever asked me that seriously. My family, my parents are doctors and engineers. They wanted something stable, prestigious. Law made sense. She nods slowly. And you? What do you want? I stare into my glass. I don't know. I just know I'm good at it. Memorizing cases. Logical analysis. It's safe. She slides her hand across the table, close to mine but not touching. I'm the opposite. Grew up in East LA. Saw too many people crushed by the system. My mom's a nurse, she's watched patients get turned away because they couldn't pay. I came to law to fight for people who don't have a voice. Not for prestige. Because I couldn't sit still. I really look at her. Behind the emotional, always smiling exterior is steel conviction, stronger than any logical argument I've ever built. And suddenly I realize, my rationality, the rules I cling to, might just be armor. Protection from risk, failure, feeling. The song ends, applause swells. Chloe smiles at me. See? Sometimes breaking the rules a little helps you see clearer. We leave around 1 a.m. Harlem sidewalk, cool night breeze. Without asking, she drapes her jacket over my shoulders. I don't protest. At the subway station, parting ways, she says, practice tomorrow, yeah? But tonight, thanks for coming with me. I nod. Voice soft, thanks for dragging me out of the library. On the train downtown, empty car, I still feel the warmth of her jacket. For the first time. I wonder if my world really is just black and white. And I start looking forward to tomorrow's practice, not just for the case, but for Chloe. Moot Court day finally arrives. The big lecture hall's transformed into a courtroom, desks arranged like benches. Professor Harlan plus 2 guests, a retired federal judge and an ACLU attorney, up front as the panel. We're plaintiffs, representing the victim's family. Facing us, the top third-year pair, Josh and Sarah, undefeated in every competition since 1L. I'm in the black suit my mom sent from Jersey, hair in a tight bun. Thick binder tabbed to perfection. Chloe's in a simple white shirt and navy blazer, curls loose, looking more like she's heading to a party than court. Before we start, she lightly touches my elbow. Breathe, Jess. We got this. I nod, heart pounding. This isn't just grades, it's my first time arguing in front of real judges. I've practiced my opening in the mirror 100 times. It has to be flawless. The early rounds go well. My opening is crisp, nailing Graham versus Connor, Tennessee versus Garner. Arguing clear Fourth Amendment violation. Panel nods. Josh counters hard. Leaning heavy on qualified immunity and exigent circumstances. Chloe's direct of the witness, a classmate playing the victim's mother, is brilliant. She draws out the human story without crossing into manipulation. Trouble hits during cross. Josh corners me with rapid-fire questions on case details where we're weak, distance of shots, no-knock warrant, whether the victim was truly asleep. I hold my own, but my voice wavers. Then he lands the killer blow, Ms. Collins. If your argument is that qualified immunity doesn't apply because the violation was clearly established, can you cite even one Supreme Court case, just one, where immunity was denied in a similar situation? I know the answer. There isn't one. Not close enough. I open my mouth, but my throat closes. Mind racing, searching for any case that could save me. Silence stretches. I hear my pulse in my ears. Then I feel it, a warm hand quietly slipping into mine under the table. Chloe. Her fingers squeezed gently, sending strength I can't explain. No words, no precedent, just her presence. I take a deep breath, look Josh dead in the eye. Members of the court, I say, voice suddenly steady. It's true there's no exact precedent yet. And that's exactly why we're here today. The law isn't only about repeating the past, sometimes it has to move forward to protect our most fundamental rights. Breonna Taylor wasn't just a legal hypothetical. She was a human being, a black woman, a frontline healthcare worker, killed in her own home with no chance to defend herself. We cannot keep hiding these injustices behind the shield of qualified immunity. I weave Chloe's argument, the real human pain, into the logical framework I built. Not replacing it. Strengthening it. And somehow, it works. The panel leans in. Josh tries to recover, but he's off balance. Chloe's closing is magic. Slow. Voice trembling with emotion but never weak. She ends with a line that silences the room, justice isn't a cage. It has to have a heart. While the panel deliberates. We wait in the hallway. I'm still shaking. Chloe turns to me, smiling. You were amazing up there, Jess. First time I've seen you truly alive on your feet. I meet her eyes, heart racing. I couldn't have done it without you. That hand, thank you. The door opens. Harlan announces, victory for the plaintiffs. The room erupts in applause. Josh and Sarah come over, gracious handshakes. But I barely hear it. Chloe throws her arms around me in pure joy. I hug back, letting myself sink into the feeling for once. Later, hallway empty, just us. She pulls back but doesn't step away. Her eyes lock on mine, close enough to see flecks of gold in the brown. Jess, I don't wait. I lean in. Lips meeting hers. Our first kiss, soft, trembling, carrying everything we've held back these weeks. No rules, no precedent, no index. Just heart and undeniable pull. When we part. Both breathless. She smiles, cheeks flushed. Now that's breaking the rules. I laugh, a real one. And I don't regret a thing. But deep down, I know things are about to get a lot more complicated. Because now I'm not just fighting for justice in court, I'm fighting for my own heart. After that kiss, everything between Chloe and me shifts. We're no longer just Moot Court partners. We start dating, late nights at campus cafes, weekend walks along the Hudson. Evenings stretched out on her dorm couch while she tells stories about growing up in East LA and I rest my head on her shoulder. I never knew simple things could make me this happy. But summer associate offers are rolling in. One April morning I open my email and there it is, a formal offer from Kraveth, Swain and Moore, one of the most conservative, elite firms on Wall Street. 6-figure starting salary, year-end bonus, clear partner track in 10 years. I tell my parents, Mom's voice shakes with pride, Dad says the whole family is honored. That night I meet Chloe at Riverside Park. Warm spring breeze off the river. I think she'll be thrilled for me. She listens, then goes quiet a long time. Finally. Soft, you gonna take it? I haven't decided. But it's huge. Kraveth only takes a handful from Columbia each year. She stares at the water. City lights dancing on the surface. I just accepted an unpaid position with a nonprofit in Brooklyn, Immigrant Rights Defense. No salary. But I'll be working cases that actually change lives. I smile, reach for her hand. That's amazing. We'll both be in the city, we can still see each other. She pulls her hand back. First time I've seen her truly angry. Jess, you don't get it. Kraveth isn't just a firm. They represent the biggest corporations, the banks that caused the financial crisis, the oil companies wrecking the planet. They defend the very system that crushed people like the victim's family in our case. If you go there, you become part of the cage I talked about. I freeze. I'm not going to defend injustice. I'm going to learn, get better, then later I can, later? She cuts me off, voice rising. When is later, Jess? After you've got the Upper East Side apartment, kids in private school, and you're used to seeing everything through a profit lens? You'll turn back into the machine, cold. Rational, slowly forgetting the heart you just found. Her words cut deep. I stand, voice shaking. You think I'm that weak? You don't trust me? She stands too, eyes red. I trust the you right now. But I'm scared of the future you, the one who'll choose the safe path, like you always have. And then you won't just abandon your ideals, you'll abandon us. We stand there, feet apart but miles away. I want to hold her, tell her it'll be okay. But the words stick. Finally she turns. I need time to think, she says quietly. You should too. I watch her disappear into the park. For the first time since that hallway kiss, I feel achingly alone. The days after are hell. I barely sleep, replaying the fight. I call my mom about Kravith, she says, don't let feelings ruin your future. I call my college best friend, he says. Kravith is every lawyer's dream, don't blow it. But every night I remember Chloe's hand in mine under the table, that rule-breaking kiss. Chloe and I still text, short, polite. No mention of Kravith or her nonprofit. We're like strangers clinging to a fraying thread. Graduation is weeks away. I have to decide, not just the job, but who I want to be. And whether I have the guts to choose the path my heart wants, not my head. I know if I choose wrong, I lose Chloe forever. From the moment I stepped into Columbia, I believed the law was a perfect system of rules and precedent, black and white, no room for emotion. I learned to memorize every clause, every case, because I thought that was the only way to achieve justice. But over these 3 years, especially this final one, I've realized I was wrong. A murmur ripples through the audience. My parents in the front row, Mom frowning slightly. The law isn't a cage. Without human warmth, compassion, the courage to challenge old injustices, it only protects those who already hold power. True justice, the equity we study in contracts, is the balance between reason and heart. It's seeing someone else's pain and daring to stand for them, even when precedent isn't on your side. It's recognizing that sometimes exceptions aren't mistakes, they're progress. I look straight at Chloe. Her eyes shine. I used to think the safe choice was the smart one. Today I know courage is the smartest choice of all. So instead of joining the big Wall Street firms, I'm starting my career at a public interest law office, where I can use my skills to defend the voiceless. Applause swells, louder than I expected. I see Chloe on her feet, clapping, smiling through tears. After the ceremony, everyone spills onto the lawn for photos and hugs. I find Chloe in the crowd. She runs to me, crashes into my arms without a word. We hold each other tight under the New York sun. I'm so proud of you, she whispers in my ear. You chose your heart. I kiss her hair softly. I chose us. Then we walk out the Broadway gates together, me still in my gown, her arm linked through mine. Laughing about future cases we might work on together, or at least argue about over dinner like old times. We're not opposites anymore. I still bring the solid frame, logic, precedent, strategy. She still breathes life into it, emotion, story, compassion. We fit perfectly. I look at her in the sunlight, curls dancing in the breeze, and think this is the justice I was always searching for, not in the books, but in the eyes of the woman I love. We walk on down the long road ahead, fighting for the world, and most of all, fighting for each other.